Hi, I'm Angela Rosito, and we're going to be talking about engaging and understanding children with autism. First, I'm going to explain autism and its effects on children, and then we're going to talk about Dr. Temple Grandin and her book, The Way I See It. We will also be talking about sensory sensitivities and their effects on children with autism. Autism is a neurodevelopmental disorder that affects a child's ability to socialize with others and to communicate. Autism is a variable disorder that affects each child differently. There are different types of disorders on the autism spectrum. Some children have Asperger's. The Asperger's spectrum is the highest functioning on the ASD. The lowest functioning and most severe of the ASDs is autism. You could have a child that is verbal or nonverbal, a child that has severe sensory issues, as well as many other issues. Then we have PDD-NOS, which is pervasive developmental disorder not otherwise specified, which is atypical autism. It is usually milder than autism, but has similar symptoms of an autistic child. Whether it be on the far lowest functioning end of the spectrum or be at the highest functioning end, autism spectrum disorders affect children in many of the same ways. It is hard for these children to become part of the world in which regular children live in. Their actions exclude them from regular activities that regular children participate in. This disorder puts these children into another world that is hard for us to understand. Dr. Temple Grandin is a well-accomplished adult with autism. She is also the author of many books, but one in particular that has moved me and has helped me to teach my children with autism is called The Way I See It. Grandin has a first-hand look into the disorder, which is why I feel that her philosophy is the way in which I will be able to effectively teach my students with autism. Now I'll be talking about sensory sensitivities and how they affect learning for children with autism. I will also be talking about ways to apply these activities in my classroom in order to engage students. There are many sensory sensitivities that affect learning for children with autism. Sensory issues are real and they are variable. Temple Grandin stresses that you must never mix up sensory issues with bad behavior. A child should never be punished for their sensory sensitivities. For example, a child with auditory sensitivities may have a hard time when a loud bell is ringing. The child should not be punished for their meltdown while the bell is sounding. There are ways to help children with auditory sensory sensitivities. For students that have an issue with loud noises such as fire alarms, you could help the child be desensitized by this sound by recording this. You can also have the student wear earplugs for half of the day. Sensory sensitivities that are mostly misunderstood are auditory sensitivities. When hearing is tested, the auditory threshold is normal, but auditory detail, which is the ability to hear the hard consonant sounds, is where the issue is. Children that are echolalic repeat things such as commercials. The reason why they do this is because they think that the tone of the language is the communication rather than the words. There are many ways to help children with visual processing problems. You can use incandescent lamps or lighting, block the fluorescent lights in the area. These lights tend to flicker, which can be a huge problem for children who have these kinds of sensitivities. Now I'll be talking about effective ways to teach children with autism to prosper in school and in everyday society. There are many ways that have shown to be effective in teaching children with autism to prosper in school and in everyday society. Dr. Grandin stresses the many skills that can be used to help these children. We could teach making generalizations and becoming flexible. We could also teach helping children to make categories. We could play categorizing games, which is a way to help them do this. It is important to also teach children to develop their talents. If a child has a talent, it is important to help the child develop that to their fullest potential so that they can prosper as an adult. Also, we can help children find other children that have shared interests, which helps socialization. Autism is a serious disorder that affects children in their everyday lives. It is our job as teachers to help understand these children and to help engage these children and learn more about the issues that debilitate their lives.